All right, everyone. It's your boy PrimeTime Phillips,
And Sir Berks.
and we're here to talk to you guys, I guess, about the Jets quarterback situation. And really, if you've watched Stephen A. Smith, you know.
That he's saying that the fix is in for Tim Tebow to be the starter at some point. Maybe not week one, but at some point throughout the season, he'll be without injury. He'll be put in there for Mark Sanchez. So
I'm chopping the bits here, Berkeley, but what do you think about this?
I think that they brought him in to play the quarterback position, but for now they still intend to use Mark Sanchez because at certain times of the game, there are going to be situations where they'd rather have Mark Sanchez in, and the situations where they have Tim Tebow in. So it may be like half and half, or like basically like substitution. So maybe in the fourth quarter they want to get the run game going. They bring in Tim Tebow, start running the spread option. He's gonna get some throw plays. They're gonna have to do some throw plays.
Definitely.
That's the thing, right? So it gets kind of tricky. It is kind of the way it looks right now, though, is that if they want Tim Tebow to succeed there, and as the quarterback, that automatically pushes Sanchez
That
out
definitely pushes
out the door.
Sanchez. Okay, I see your argument, and I see all the arguments in general. I understand it's easy to look at what Tebow's done, and anytime they bring in a player who's a celebrity,
Yeah.
it's easy to assume that he's just going to take over from the player who is lesser of a celebrity. And it's funny that last year Sanchez was Hollywood, and now Tebow's come in and has kind
Yeah.
of switched it around. But the way I see it is, there's definitely going to be packages for Tebow. You don't bring in someone unless you have a plan to use him.
Yeah.
However, what I think a lot of people are sleeping on, and I mentioned in my last video, is that the Jets really missed the element that Brad Smith brought last year or 2 years ago. That element that we could put in for packages, a quarterback who had the threat to run the ball and throw the ball at the same time. The whole Wildcat for a team that likes to run the ball is a really great idea because it lets us enforce our will and it lets us to run a team in a different dimension. So when we have you worn down, it is a great success. And I'm not going to say that Tim Tebow is going to be limited to Brad Smith because what he offers is even more diverse than that. All that he can do in the option, I see where that is a great strength, and we can't hate. We've seen what Tebow did for his team in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
So it's easy to have him just to come in here and take Mark Sanchez's job. But the way I see it as a Jets fan is the ground and pound is definitely our preferred strategy. I think that this is what we should move towards more. But we also have to keep in the fact that the NFL is changing. You really need to be able to move the ball at certain times. And what I found is as a ground and pound team, as that defensive team, you get stuck in situations where if things aren't going your way, it's really hard to all of a sudden out of nowhere ramp it up.
Yeah.
It will be hard if Tim Tebow is a major component of your offense and you're down more than 10 points. It's hard to really ramp it up and change what you do. So I really think it. I think Tebow is more of a safety net. I can see it if he outplays Mark Sanchez, then I could definitely see his role expanding.
Yeah.
Though I don't think the Jets really want to put him 100% the quarterback.
Okay.
I really do think the ideal scenario that this works out, it's not a huge conspiracy. It's covering your ass, to be honest. Um, it's not a huge conspiracy, but I think they would definitely like to see Mark Sanchez step in and outplay Tim Tebow. Now, I think Tim Tebow will be used as a goal line option. I think that skill, honestly, for a guy like Rex Ryan and Tony Sperano, I think that's something Mark Sanchez has to man up and just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It hurts, and it may hurt your pride a little bit, but that in that aspect, I definitely
Yeah.
think there's going to be a loss, and he's going to have to put on his big boy pants, as I said, and suck one up for the team because I really do think if Tim Tebow can be successful in that range, and I really do think another aspect where I think people may be right is that when Tim Tebow's hot, they're going to ride the hot hand.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you would think of a quarterback that has to come out now because
To me, as Mark said, depends on what type of quarterback you are. Like, what type of so. If you're Rex Ryan now, you're Mike Tannenbaum. So what do you go and say to Sanchez? Like, what is your role now? You're still the starter, but there are packages where we're gonna use Tim Tebow. I mean, as to when they decide to use those packages,
How much?
and
That's,
how
the real
often.
key. That's the real what is Tebow's role in this whole offense?
It could be. I'm thinking what's gonna end up happening is gonna be like a game situation. Like let's say, based on how one guy's playing, like let's say
Definitely.
if Sanchez is having a bad game, then they can be all of a sudden there's more packages for Tebow.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think there's another element too. Like there's a group of people want Tim Tebow to be the starter because he's more liked than Mark Sanchez. Like as soon as they're gonna get the Tebow chance going, and then
he's a more popular.
Yeah, it'll get to a point where if he can do, because as a pass, Mark Sanchez he's not really coming off the greatest year. So people are saying now that like even looking at Tim Tebow's passing, he may be able to outplay Sanchez and then end up taking the role altogether.
Definitely. I think a lot of people are really up in arms. I think they're quick to react. I think we got to really be realistic with Sanchez. I think it's hard for us Jets fans to be realistic in general, but with Sanchez, I think it's even harder. That instant success kind of buoyed our head, and we look at him under a really certain circumstances, and he is a high pick, but we have to really look at it.
Even with the success with him, though, you knew that it was kind of, to me, it was always like the Jets were winning in spite of Mark Sanchez, not because of Mark Sanchez. You guys had the good defense in the run game before. Like, Sanchez was in there, and then a lot of people were seeing it as he was the reason why you guys couldn't get over
maybe
the edge. So even with the success that you had, it did kind of, like, it kind of nices up your opinion of him, but a lot of people looked at him like, yo, if we had, like, a better quarterback, what could we have done, or what could have...
That's true, but... you have to play within your offense, and even Aaron Rodgers with all his success at this age, he's still carrying Brett Favre's playbook.
Yeah.
So like, it takes time to develop these quarterbacks. You know what I mean? And I really think the skill set of Mark Sanchez. I think he's been really proven in the clutch. I think there was a lot of problems with our offense. I think that's
the run game wasn't the same last year.
There was definitely a lot of problems in our offense last year. To be 100%, and even when we're looking at scapegoats for those losses in the playoffs, there were some key injuries at some of these games, and when they were knocked out, and there was also we have to look at the offensive coordinator position, which has already been looked at. So I think this year is really going to be a judging stick because with Sperano, it's kind of a unified thought in the Jets.
Yeah.
Training room. I don't think there's a doubt about what our personnel is going to be.
Mm-hmm. See a resurgence of Sean Green, maybe. You have to see a resurgence of Sean Green. If he doesn't, then there's no way. I think kind of to him, I don't know. I've always been up and down with him. He's good, but he's never really been that. He's never been too consistent.
No, he always gets. Yeah. He's been hurt a lot.
He gets hurt a lot.
When you run as physical as him, he does.
It'd be nice to see him.
Kind of get hurt.
You guys are, and then I guess McKnight
as well too. Yeah. He's put on 20 pounds. So
okay.
We'll see where that's going, but I think at the running back position, it all boils down to we got to open up these holes like we normally do.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Tebow was almost brought in instead of bringing in a running back. I really think this is where it's going to be because I think people are underestimating the fact that the Jets will switch out of these packages in mid-drive. It's not going to be always just this is a Tebow drive. If it was used anyway similar to how we use the
thing with that kind of messes up the whole drive though. Like if you're Sanchez, all right, boom, boom. You know you're getting hot, you're in rhythm. You hit 2 passes, get a couple runs, and then bring in Tebow. Like maybe they can bring Sanchez back, or like is Tebow going to finish off the drive? It's just kind of like
it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
It's unfounded ground. Like I think that's where this brings all the excitement because we've never seen a situation, a dynamic like this quite before. I mean, so it's almost easy to say that because we've never seen something tried like this before that for sure it has to be a conspiracy they really want. I think that's where a lot of people are trying to hammer this down and come on and say this is what the situation is. And I think it's too early. I don't think the Jets know 100% where the situation is. To be honest with you, I think that they're going to let the situation play out. I definitely think he's there to push Sanchez.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely think they see him as a quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a statement that can be denied. But do they see him as the number one quarterback? Do they see him as a wildcat option that could be a really good backup? I think that's more along the lines. It could be a safety net if Sanchez doesn't play to the way they expect him to play.
Yeah.
Like you said, Tebow could get more time. So I don't think this is a conspiracy. I think this is just I think it's a smart move.
I think it's a smart move too.
For what they paid to get him, I think it's just at this point. I think the Jets are really about, or not even the Jets. Mike Tannenbaum is really about being opportunistic, and I think he's seen an opportunity here, where Peyton Manning comes into this organization. John Elway, in all rights, didn't want Tebow from last year.
Yeah.
Was handcuffed by his success. It was almost like they had to bring in Peyton Manning
to
get rid of that. Yeah. That's how big Tim Tebow's following is, and celebrity is. So he was almost handcuffed by Tim Tebow's success last year. So in that way, they were doing what they could to get him out of town. I think it was an opportunity where a lot of teams didn't know what they wanted to get with Tebow, and it was kind of, if you made the move at this time, you either reap the rewards or it ends up being a bust.
Yeah.
So I think we have to see where it goes. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I have to see where it goes. Coming there, he may end up being the starter. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. I mean, either way, it should be a pretty good season. I think he can hold it down for you guys, though. If he doesn't need to be the thing, just have the wildcat, and he can throw to a point. So, and his accuracy will get better throughout the year. So it can't get worse. So.
They say he's improving, but in all honesty, as a Jets fan, I do not want to see Tim Tebow as my number one starting quarterback. I would like to see him used as a package. I just really think that I am a Sanchez supporter, and I kind of think that he's really proven to be clutch. If our offense can break the game down and be smart with the football, I think last year, and I think the last couple years in general, Schottenheimer he overcomplicated everything in the offense.
Yeah.
There was so much motion and so much shifting, and it's not all on Sanchez. I think offense as general, there was a lot of miscues, and there was a lot of plays that just where things just didn't go our way because we almost shot ourselves in foot and drives where we have plays that just we couldn't execute these overcomplicated plays at times, and I guess that does fall on the quarterback's leadership. That's what has to be questioned, but it also has to fall on the offensive coordinator for installing these same plays, right? So not to beat a dead horse in the foot, I think if we can go back to the old ground and pound offense, and I think a lot of success we had was when Sanchez was a rookie, was because we played a more simplified playbook.
Yeah.
And what that did is, as a ground and pound team, sometimes it's the simplest plays that really work.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when we're running on you all day, if you get caught, if you catch someone in a play action, it doesn't really matter how many shifts you did before that.
Yeah.
If you have a guy going on a fly and that guy bites on a play action, that could be a touchdown pass. You know what I mean? And I think Sperano is really good at mixing in his run and pass ratio, but keeping the run count high. Yeah. I think that's something that Rex will appreciate, and I think that going down the line is what could dictate both Sanchez's and Tim Tebow's success next year.
Definitely. Anyway, let us know what you guys think.
Do you think Sanchez... Let us know what you guys think.
And who do you want to start?
Yeah, who do you want to start? And if you want Tebow to start, what week does he take the job?
I want Tebow.
That's what I want to know. Is he there week 1? Is it like gone by...
I want Tebow week 1.
Many of you do want Tebow week 1.
I want Tebow week 1. Yeah, this is a Redskins fan, though, so... Shout out to RG3.
Tebow fans, what do you think? And why... I also want to know, Tebow fans, why you think Tebow is going to take Sanchez's job. Right. Let us know. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the gridiron. Peace.